Welcome in, episode 11, Scissortail Podcast. Thanks for joining us. I'm Porter Cunningham, joined as always by my co-host Will Bowersox. Will, say hello to the people.
Good evening.
We're here on a nice, stormy Sunday evening in the crown jewel of Oklahoma City, the Scissortail Studios.
In many ways, it's your prototypical spring evening here in Oklahoma. We've got warm weather, we've got thunderstorms, we've got rain. Might even get crazy and see a tornado.
Yeah, see a nader or two. Last night was windy, cold, windy and temperature dropping, I guess I should say. It was comfortable at kickoff. Got colder as the night went on for NASL Match Day 2 in Oklahoma City.
I regretted not wearing a jacket.
Yes, it was chilly on the walk to the car after the game, for sure. So welcome into episode 11, as I said. As always, we do corrections first and foremost. And we don't really have any corrections this week, but we did attend the post-game press conference after the Edmonton game in Week 1, the 0-0 draw. And we have that audio, so
we're going to drop it in, and feel free to skip ahead if you want to, but it's, if nothing else, instructive to listen to because later in the episode, you'll hear the post-game audio from the Carolina game, so you might be interested in comparing and contrasting. So
yeah, it's about 6 minutes long, and if you'd like to listen, maybe you can see us grow as semi-professional media people.
Question askers.
Yeah. So
right.
We'll drop that in now, and we'll catch you on the other side.
And coming out with the 0-0 draw, how do you feel about the first match?
I felt we completely dominated it. We were strong defensively. I don't think Danny ever had to face a shot, and that's a good sign. You know, if you're limiting teams to no shots or limited amount of shots, you set yourself up for success. Possession, I don't know off the top of my head, but I want to say it was pretty significant in our favor. Created a lot of opportunities. Us as coaches, that's what we ask for. If you're creating opportunities, we know we have the quality up front that we're going to be getting goals. Wasn't our day. At the final product, their keeper made some massive saves. Hats off to Matt Van Oekel, to keep his team in the game because he kept them in the game. I strongly believe this. But the bright side of this, it's a day for us. It's an opportunity for us to grow and get better. But if we can do this every game, dominate possession, create a number of opportunities, and limit opposition's chances, I feel good about where we're going.
What did you think of the atmosphere? You've started a new team before in San Antonio, so you knew what you were doing the last couple of months, putting the roster together and whatnot. But what did you think to finally be here? An incredible crowd, a sellout crowd, shows up and supports you guys.
Yeah, we are truly blessed as a club. It was obviously a very short amount of time to put a team together, to get a professional organization up and running. And it's hats off to all the people also in the front office, how hard they work, our ownership group, and our fans. It's a great feeling when they came out and supported us and cheered us on, and we know it's going to be a great year, and hopefully they're proud of what they saw on the field, because I know I am as a coach.
Robbie, a pretty intense game, it looked like from our view, and you guys got chippy at the end, or most of the match really, and you didn't come away with the results you wanted, but you do get a point. Tell me your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, it is a little frustrating, but as far as our game plan and what we went out to achieve, I thought we did well. The guys fought hard and played their roles. And then, like Alan said, on another day, a couple of those shots go in the back of the net, you know what I mean? So, for the most part, we're happy with the performance. Obviously, we'll work on some things next week in training, and then be ready for next weekend.
Coach, how set are you on your rotation so far? Do you feel like you have a good rotation set up? What we saw tonight is something we can see consistently, or are you going to move pieces around more?
Yeah, myself personally, is very happy with what we've brought in. Got a lot of experience, as you guys can see, a lot of talent, great leaders, a couple of them up here with me right now. So we're very happy with what we've assembled, especially in such a short amount of time. Like I said, I'm excited for this year, very, very excited, and I hope our fans are as well.
Michelle, the defense was pretty solid, and you got to be happy to at least have the clean sheet. even whether or not you get the results you wanted. So how do you feel you guys did defensively, and how do you feel you guys were on the surface that was just installed a couple days ago?
Yeah, we was very solid in the back, so it's been a lot of good organization. We don't give the chance for Elemento to score on us, and maybe a little bit of luck in the front, like the last touch, we put this ball inside, we got the 3 points. So let's work one more week and getting better for the next week. Hopefully that you can next week score goals, make our fans happy, we'll be happy. So when you play at home, you have to be strong.
You being on the defensive side, but you're also up getting a lot of crosses in on the left side. Do you feel like offensively you were able to get and to do enough to at least give your team a chance?
Absolutely. It's what the coach asked me to do. And first I have to defend. And when I get the opportunity to go forward and try to give some cross, some good pass to my strikers.
I don't have any more questions.
Any other questions?
Every time that the opposing goalkeeper, you could hear a chant that's notorious with the Hispanic community. So, what's your message to the Hispanic community that came out to support OKC Riot today?
We can't thank them enough for coming out. They were fantastic, loud, very passionate, which we love to see and we need. And we want to see more of it. So I challenge everyone out there to come and support. Our guys are pouring everything they got out on that field for our fans. So we ask you guys just to continue to support, be loud, and thank you. Thank you on behalf of all the players and coaching staff for being loud out there for us.
I have one question. Robbie, how did tonight compare to your experience as an MLS player?
It was good. I thought both teams came to play. Quality was there. And I mean, it's not far off, you know what I mean? And on any day, teams in this league can play and compete with teams in the MLS. You know? So it's a good quality, it's a good level, and just looking forward to the challenge. We're all looking forward to it.
Okay, so that was post-game press conference, match day 1, Edmonton. Will, any thoughts on anything from that?
Media speak is a real thing.
Coach speak, yes. Media speak or coach speak?
Coach speak and media speak.
Okay.
I asked some terrible questions last night, but, I think that the reaction after Edmonton was we played really well. We played the style we wanted to play. We didn't score. That's okay. Most importantly, we there's something to build off of.
Yeah, agree 100%.
Definitely, it's hard to tell because the audio is a little quiet, but
yeah, we'll hopefully get better at that.
The body language was, as much as you wanted to be in a press conference, the body language was that they were positive and happy and excited about what happened.
I think after that game, both the front office and the team got everything they wanted except for a goal.
Yep, agreed.
So, and a lot of generic, big picture speak. So,
no doubt,
not too much ticky-tack about the game. I did ask the rotation question, and I still got a lot of, got some great veterans on the team. 2 of them are sitting up here now, which is fine. But hopefully, as the season goes forward, we learn more about the team, and hopefully they respect us a little bit more. Maybe not with mustaches, but hopefully they respect us a little bit more. And when we ask direct questions like that, we'll get better answers. But yeah,
it was a privilege to be there. It will
Certainly
continue to be one. So
yes,
let's now shift our focus to week 2, a home game on a cold, windy night in Yukon, Oklahoma, as we saw Rayo OKC lose at the death in heartbreaking fashion to the Railhawks of Carolina.
Yeah, 3-2 loss.
I think on balance, if I'm thinking about it, looking at the stats, I think Carolina today, all else equal, is probably the better team. Having said that, really disappointing to lose in the way that they lost. And I think it just goes, look, I don't want to get into the business of claiming moral victories. That's not what I'm about. But if you look at the way that Rayo played, they came down from a goal, so they had some adversity. They led 2-1. They kind of solved the tactical puzzle that Carolina presented, and they came really close to putting it all together, and like Marcina said, we'll hear this later, like this is going to be a team that if they can figure it out, will be a force to be reckoned with, excuse me.
Yeah, definitely more tech talk coming in segment 2. But briefly, if you look at the heat maps, if you're listening, loyal company of the River Valley heat maps, I've learned, yeah, Carolina played in the Rio half a lot.
Yep.
A lot more than Rio played in the Carolina half. I mean, it's right there in the numbers, so we'll talk about that more. Just in general, the atmosphere was great. Again, a little bit more low-key than Game 1. Announced attendance of 5,815, which is still great.
It's a lot of people, man.
Not a sellout by, I think, short like 650 people or something like that.
Right.
But for that number of people to show up on that kind of weather night, I think says a lot. So still no beer garden, but the team assured us that that's going to be happening hopefully by the Indy game on April 30th. So
yeah.
Beer garden and family fun zone. I guess they had the family fun zone week 1 and the wind tore the tent down before the gates opened. So
it's windy in Oklahoma.
They're getting a bigger, better tent, and they'll have the family fun zone and the beer garden ready to go for the next home game. So let's take a little break. We've got an actual real advertisement to play in this next break. So what you're about to hear is not a joke by any means. It's a real advertisement for a real company, and we appreciate their support. So check it out.
After making double bogey, don't add insult to injury by letting your unsecured stogie bounce on you. Ready to celebrate that birdie on number 6 with a puff off your Cohiba? Oh, wait, it fell out of the golf cart back on number 4. Don't want to arrest your smoke on the turf with the chemicals and bugs? The Cigar Par-T is the solution for all problems. Its patented spring-action clamp adjusts to gently secure smokes as small as a cigarette or as large as a 60-ring gauge cigar. It can also hold vapes and pipes. It mounts in almost any tee holder and has a sturdy base to stake in the turf when you're greenside or at the tee box. And it looks cool. Several prototypes and rounds of testing have proven that the Cigar Par-T will hold up to time and the elements. The injection molded design is 100% American-made and is backed by a 1-year limited warranty. Order now to treat your smokes to a Cigar Par-T.
All right, welcome back. Segment 2. What you just heard was a little spot from our friends over at Cigar Par-T. Check them out if you're a golfer, cigar smoker, or both. CigarPartee.com. That's cigar, P-A-R-T-E-E.com.
I'm using one right now.
Yeah. You're like
sticking it into my carpet.
You're like Jim Traber smoking a stogie on the air.
Yeah, I am the future.
You're big time.
I'm the future of Oklahoma sports media.
Next thing you know, you'll be telling us about how when you were in the big leagues, that's the way that you did it.
Well, like I said, man, if Rio wins the soccer bowl, I get a ring. And from there, it's just going to be insufferable.
Okay.
So, anyway, segment 2, let's talk tech talk. No, not software, tactics. I personally just have one of the things I like the most about watching the sport of soccer is, the puzzle pieces in the chess match between the managers, both, from week to week, but also within the game itself. And so I always try to count and watch as best I can formations. And so on the Rio side, it looks like the 4-2-3-1 is going to be, kind of the base formation for the team. It's a definitely an attacking formation. When you're moving forward, it can go into a 4-3-3 with you get your wing backs pushed up and your outside midfielders pushed up, and then you can kind of sit back and kind of sit in and defend with if you need 9 players behind the ball.
Yeah, it sounds like a very versatile.
It is. It's pretty popular formation. Obviously, there's a million variations, a million ways to tweak it. We won't get into that here, but needless to say, something that we'll look for with Rio again.
So this week we saw Billy Forbes get the start because, as we asked in the post-game presser, Sebastian Velasquez not in the 18, the starting 11 or the 7 subs, due to an injury he picked up in training. We don't know what that injury was, but since he wasn't out there, Billy started on his natural position, which is the left wing, right? Yeah, left forward.
Sure.
I guess is what we're calling that position. So game starts.
And for the record, Carolina, if you look at the Optajack, which is the NASL stat service, it's going to say that Carolina came out in a 4-2-3-1 as well, but actually, from my count, they were playing, it appeared to me to be a 3-2-4-1, which is not a formation that I had seen before. So on the attack, what you've got is you've got 6 midfielders in the box, really trying to control possession, disrupt the opponent's possession. And I mean, after watching them play, it's okay, well, why don't more teams do this? It's a brilliant formation, but it just comes down to the strength of your team.
Right. I guess you've got to have very good, sound midfield play to do it, right?
No doubt. But on defensively, when Raya was on the attack and was in Carolina's half, they would sit back into a 4-5-1. So they would pack, again, 9 guys behind the ball.
Right.
So, yeah, that 3-2-4-1 indicates the midfield as a strength. A couple of vulnerabilities is that your defense can get overrun on the wings if you don't track back, if you lose the ball on the break. You just have...
We saw that a couple of times.
We got a goal off of it. For Carolina, on the attack, that 4 in the midfield was not flat. It was a diamond. So essentially kind of had a central attacking midfielder and a forward, playing in tandem. You get your fullbacks pushed forward sometimes, very aggressive. And, Ryan Johnson spoke about this as well. But what happens is you try to overload the midfield, try to make it hard for the other team to keep possession, and then you try to force play onto the wings. Which, with Billy Forbes out there, it obviously has its flaws. It kind of played Ryo OKC's favor a little bit. But a couple of things I noted is that in the first match, Ryo had 620 passes and had about 70% possession. And in the second match, we had about 200 less passes, 400, something like 402, and the possession was basically deadlocked at 50-50. So it just speaks to that different style of game, and it looked like Carolina did a really good job of clogging Ryo in the midfield. Tell us about the goals, Porter.
So, yeah, game kicks off.
If you were neutral, you saw 5 goals. That's a lot.
Yeah, and should have been more, I guess you could say, or could have been, or...
Could have been less, also.
Could have been less. So, game kicks off. It's pretty evenly both ways. Carolina gets a couple... Actually, puts the ball in the net twice that I counted.
Early goings.
Early. And one was disallowed. The first was disallowed for a foul in the box, I believe.
And the second was for offside.
And then finally... In the 23rd minute, Austin, is his first name Austin Deleuze, did finally find the net. Similarly, had one of their wingers had come up down the sideline and played a ball across the front of the goal. Deleuze had plenty of time to collect it and just pick his spot past Danny.
I thought it was a well-deserved goal, frankly. The Deleuze beat his man off the cross, and it's a good cross in, and he was a good finish. So I thought it was a strong goal. So, and honestly, at that early stage of the game, the first 20 minutes, it had been kind of all Carolina.
Right, yeah.
It was unexpected because, Ryo came out and had the wind at their back. And so I was really surprised that Carolina just held all the ball, had a lot of chances, and it's almost like there was shock from Ryo that there were 6 guys in the midfield. So what do we do? So,
yeah.
After that goal, though, things settled down.
Yeah, so after that, I think possession shifted a little bit. I'm kind of fuzzy at the time between there, but 10 minutes later, Ryan Johnson gets on the end of an assist from Marvin Chavez on the wing. A sliding effort from the back post. I think he pretty much ended up in the net, so just past the Carolina keeper for the first goal in Ryo OKC history.
Yeah, one thing I like about Marcina's style is that on defense they're aggressive and they press. And there's nuances to pressing, and if you follow Jurgen Klopp's career, he's kind of become this famous advocate of counter pressing, and there's different variations to it. Do you go to the ball? Do you go to the ball? Is going to be? Do you kind of sit in zones? And it looks like to me what Ryo was doing last night at least was coverage. So when it comes to counter-pressing, they weren't exactly pressing the ball. They were trying to anticipate where it was going to go and letting that drive their defensive shifts and tactics. And so playing out of the back, Carolina made a mistake, and they paid for it.
So one thing I failed to mention, not goal-related, but if we're going chronologically here, in the first half, Pekka went down with an ankle injury once, got up, left the field, walked it off, came back on, and then again in the 29th minute, it bothered him again, and at that point they subbed him off and subbed Richard Minivar on for Pekka. So
4 minutes later, there was a goal. I don't know how much you want to read into that, but
yeah, I know Minivar, it seemed like from what we could find, was a big midfield presence in the preseason. So he might get some burn now because second half starts, and right before the second Rayo goal, Marvin Chavez goes down.
49th minute, 50th minute.
With a hamstring injury, was what we could determine from the way he was clutching at it.
Yeah, it doesn't. That looks bad, and if you know anything about hamstrings, it's a lingering injury that hopefully he can come back from soon.
Yeah, so we'll be watching that closely. So with a very slim bench with Sebastian out there and everything, they actually went ahead and subbed in Giorgio Samaras at that point. So much earlier than we anticipated, earlier than he did in the first game. So Georgios comes on, and then shortly thereafter, he is involved in the build-up with Michel that turns into just a great individual effort from Michel.
Yeah, I mean, Michel with a great goal. Samaras with the hockey assist to Forbes with the assist all on the left side. And it's kind of your classic run where you expect the guy to cut it back across the 6-yard box to find an open man, but
an impossible angle.
And he just slotted it with that lead foot of his.
Yes, exactly.
I thought Samaras made a pretty big impact early on, at least. So I was talking to a couple other people independently who all said he looks like he's just gliding out there. You know, his vision, his passing, his precision with his passing. He's got good foot skills. Now, later in the match, he lost the ball in some dangerous places, but I think that's just a function of his experience, or of his fitness not being fully there. But right away, he was making a large impact.
Sure, yeah. And this second game in a row, and I don't think that's going to be unique. I think, especially if this team is deep enough to continue to bring him off the bench. I don't know how long they plan on doing that for. I don't know if that's going to be all season long, but it's definitely a dangerous tool to have on the bench. So
let's finish up here. So 60th minute, I thought we were real lucky to not go down or have it tied up again. So
yeah, I actually missed that save.
Looked like a certain goal. Fernandez had an amazing save and was just falling away to his right and got his fingers on it and pushed the ball over the edge.
Completely missed that. I think it was checking Twitter or something.
It was a great save. I haven't seen any highlights on YouTube, so take my word for it that it was awesome.
Okay.
So unfortunately, in the 74th minute, we gave up the lead, and we took advantage. We were the beneficiaries of potentially a controversial call in the first game. This game went the other way, but there was a blown call where the defender looked like he got clipped. It was unlucky because it was off of a long ball.
Yeah, the over the top through ball, and I don't know if it was Rashawn or Fuddy, but he obviously had the position. He was obviously going to get to the ball first and either play it back to Danny for a clearance or play it out. And whoever the goal scorer was, so Hassan kind of cut behind him. And as you see so often, intentional or not, I don't think at that point, even if it's unintentional, it's still a foul if there's contact. Feet get tied up, defender, Rayo Kissi player goes down, Hassan's in on goal, he collects himself and slots it past Danny. So,
is that a goal? Is that a foul for you, for sure?
Yeah, I think it's a foul. If there's contact there, it's a foul, whether it's intentional or not.
I guess if you blew it in the first half, why would you not blow it in the second half?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. That was one of several calls that we thought the referee got wrong. But, 3 minutes later, Rayo should have taken the lead. So Billy Forbes, he had a great chance to take the lead. Billy Forbes was the recipient of a great cross. There was a glancing header, and it just didn't go in. But I thought Billy Forbes really in the final third of the game, so from what call it the 60th minute on, just really made a huge impact and turned it on. And in fact, the call was going around the press box for man of the match, and this is back when it was 2-2, and I was like, well, for me, it's Billy Forbes for sure. He's just making such an outsized impact with his runs and his pace and his creativity on the ball. He had some play where he split two defenders out of nowhere and then took on the third guy.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to what you said earlier, is with him on the wing, he's not your typical winger who's just fast. I mean, he's fast, but he's got a great touch on the ball, and he's got great ball control skills. So we've seen multiple times in both games, he'll get the ball in space on the wing, beat the first guy with pace, cut it back in on the second guy, and then by that time he's in pretty much the center of the defense with one guy to beat to be in on goal. So surely a reason why people called him such an electrifying player in the NASL last year was San Antonio, and
Proven it.
yeah, it's going to be exciting to watch. So
let's talk about really kind of a jam-packed final few minutes. So in the 86th minute, Raya was breaking on the goal. There was an obvious foul from behind. No yellow, which was controversial, and ended up kind of wasting the opportunity.
I think they actually did end up booking them.
Okay.
For that one, I'm trying to pull it up.
Well, needless to say, Raya had plenty of chances in this game, and they should have, like Marcina said, put him away.
That was the 85th minute, right?
85th minute.
Yeah. He after the whole scuttlebutt, he ended up going to his book for that one.
So Porter, let's talk about just that brutal stoppage time goal to give up. So I guess there's a minimum of 4 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah, but if you remember, they called for a minimum of 4 minutes, right? And then in about the 92nd minute, Michel and Samaras are lining up over a free kick from about 22 yards out, and we were thinking, this is it.
Yeah,
like I thought this is it. You know, something's gonna happen here. We're gonna win 3-2, and then right after that, literally after that, it maybe went out for a corner or something. And then they broke.
Yeah, there was a break off the free kick,
and we got lucky to get a corner out of that. And about that time was probably close to the 4th minute.
Yeah.
Then they knock the corner in. We go for the clearance. It's the toe poke right into the family jewels of the Carolina player.
Right.
So he naturally goes down in a heap.
Right.
So then the ball goes out for another corner. So I heard, and you'll hear Coach Marcina say their time was up. I agree 100% with that, but I also... If it were the other way around and Rayo OKC had a corner and we had a player injured, you still have to play that corner out, right?
Yeah.
You can't blow the game on a corner of a tied game. So
right, and honestly, jumping ahead, I mean, the ref gave the time to Rayo for that guy being down. He gave it back to him because there were still a couple minutes after that goal.
Yes.
So look, you can find the highlights pretty easily. It looked like maybe there's a bit of miscommunication defensively.
Yeah, I think Samaras was supposed to mark him, and then somebody actually came over in front of him, but it was a pretty uncontested header at the near post.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I would score that every time, but it was a pretty uncontested header.
Yeah.
So pretty tough way to go down. I mean, let's drop in the audio and listen to the press conference reaction, but unless there's anything else to talk about.
Real quick before we do that, I wanted to say we saw Yuma for the first time this game. I think he was the only new face this game.
I thought Yuma played great. I think Yuma and Boateng and that DM. I guess Yuma came on for Boateng. I'd love to see those guys play together. But as far as, I guess, we talked about this last time with their legs, maybe not being all the way there because of their veteran status. I thought pretty seamless transition, man. Boateng is great. Yuma came on and played really well. Two pretty good players for sure.
Yeah. So let's listen to the post game audio, and then after that we'll roll into. We want to briefly touch on the turf, and then roll into the next game, which is Miami. So Carolina, NASL Matchday 2, Rayo OKC, Carolina Royalhawks post game presser starts now.
Do you want to open with a statement? All right, we'll just open it up with questions then.
Tough way to lose the game, I'm sure. But Ryan, I had a question for you first. Being on the pitch yourself, last week there were some comments from the visiting team about the quality of the turf itself, and I just wanted to know how you thought it played tonight, in your opinion.
It played a little bit better than last week, being the first time that we were on it, but it's definitely different from most of the turf pitches around the nation. Just a new technology, how it is, how it sticks, how high it is. So, I mean, definitely visiting teams at least are going to have a tough time getting used to it. So it is different, but we have to deal with it. So we have to keep pushing on.
Coach Marcina, I noticed Sebastian wasn't in the 18 tonight. I don't know if you could comment on why he wasn't listed tonight.
Had an injury.
Okay.
Had a hamstring injury.
I got to ask about the referee performance and how it played in the final result. Do you have any comment on that?
We should have put him away. Should have put Carolina away. It's unexcusable how poor the officiating was. That is a fact. Anybody clear can watch the tape, and when I watch the tape, I'm probably going to have the same opinion. Same time, we should have buried him. Should have put him away. I am proud of my guys, though. They fought to the very end. Even the time was done. It was about a minute and a half or so past the time that was allocated. Yeah, maybe I got to get more educated on that.
Do you believe NASL referees are capable of dealing with all the pressure that they have in the games?
No idea. They're up there. They got to do a job. Call a game.
Ryan, it seemed like maybe another outside factor was the heavy wind. So from your perspective on the field, obviously wind is wind when you're playing, but anything special you noticed about how it influenced the play?
Yeah, as the night went on, it started to gust a lot harder. So, just getting out of our half was a lot more difficult compared to normally we would be able to just keep the ball on the floor and pass it around and get out that way. But, it's something that, we've been getting used to over the last few months here. It's been very windy. So, it's just something that we have to deal with. And when we do have the wind, coming against us, we have to just do a little bit of a better job of getting out of our half. But yeah, it was definitely difficult, but like I said, it's something that we have to deal with.
Coach Marcina, what do you tell your players after a tough loss like this?
To remember this feeling and never put ourselves in this position to feel this way. I feel strongly we were the stronger side. We created the better opportunities. Yes, we weren't as clinical as we'd like. But people also forget that we're brand new and we're still gelling. It's easy to look at our roster and then all of a sudden make these expectations. It takes some time. And we're going to get it, and we're going to get it right. And we're going to be a force to be reckoned with, I can assure you
that. Coach, it seemed like you had to bring on Giorgio Samaras a little earlier than we expected, at least this evening. Is that true? And if so, is that going to affect anything going forward with his play?
Giorgio's a fantastic player, a world-class player. Anytime he can step on the pitch is a blessing for our team. We had an injury, and we had to make a decision, right, on soccer. Fortunately, had an injury. You don't plan for these things. We had it early on with Pekka. If anybody knows Pekka, he's a guy that rarely gets hurt. So that's, again, you just gotta do with what adversity you face and make do with it. And I feel very confident with all my players. So regardless of who steps on the pitch, we feel good. And again, I think our fans got a taste of us tonight. Our guys left everything they had on that pitch, worked extremely hard. There was a lot of adversity tonight, and our guys kept playing.
Do you have any update on Marvin Chavez, by any chance?
He's with the doctor, so I'm not sure.
One more question, guys.
Looking ahead to next week, do you have any special plans for the bye week, or traditionally do you do anything if you don't have a game on the weekend?
We'll arrange something and make sure these guys get ready, and they will be ready. And like I said, this was a tough one to swallow. and I know my guys are feeling the same as me. My guys are very, very passionate, and we'll get back to work. We'll improve on areas. Every day, regardless win or lose, there's areas to improve on and get better. And we are obviously disappointed, but at the same time, it's we've got a lot of great things ahead of us.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, so that's the post-game press conference from match day 2.
Strong
OKC,
words.
Carolina, yeah.
Strong words. Hopefully, if you listen to both of the post-game sessions, you'll hear from the audio standpoint the marked shift in body language and what they were saying and how they were saying it. Context is really important.
Yeah.
He was pissed.
Yeah. Coach Marcina, I don't know if you can tell, but he had a little bit of shake voice in there when he was talking about, remember this feeling so that you never feel this way again.
Got me fired up.
Yeah.
I was real ready for indoor today.
And he said, when I asked, when the great reporter asked, what are you going to do for the bye week? He said, we'll get something lined up and we will be ready. So
wind sprints, baby.
Wind sprints, yeah. So it sounds like he's looking ahead to the next game, which is at Miami on Miami. That's right, at Miami FC. Friday. It's a Friday game, I think. The 22nd.
Yeah, sure.
So before we get to that real quick.
That's a future corrections.
Yeah, future correction. Let's
do a little turf talk.
Yeah. We asked Ryan about the turf, and we had the opportunity to go down on the field. So what did you think about the field when we were down there?
Well, from the press box, it really does look amazing. And you can see long horizontal strips, which is fine, just so you can see that kind of stuff on an NBA basketball court. And then when you get down on the field itself, that was my first time to be on a field turf without the pellets, so that was a little weird.
Right, which for those of you out there who don't know, one of the complaints from the FC Edmonton player, besides the quote-unquote nail or hatchet or machete or RPG or whatever it was that they found,
machine gun shells,
was that the field was so new that there was no rubber on it. Well, this field is intentionally designed to not have those rubber pellets.
We should have practiced our slide tackling to see how it impacted, if the pellets have an impact there. But honestly, I thought that the field turf was fine. Unfortunately, they're playing on a football field with a track around it. And so the length, at least they're not, there's a trade-off, right? They're not playing on a football field it's like a very narrow pitch, but they have to extend the width of the field to go up over the inside lanes. And so it's subtle, but you definitely notice there's kind of a valley sense.
Yeah, a little bit of a crown to it as you get closer to the touch line.
Yeah.
And it's something they'll get better at.
Yeah, and there's a couple quote-unquote puddles. If you didn't want to try and draw this connection, the part of the field we were on pregame, there were no injuries that came off that part of the field. In fact, the goal, Michel's goal, that's where we were.
Right.
So there's not any correlation between what we're describing, what happened. I would not try to draw that connection.
Yeah. So,
but let's contrast that to our upcoming opponent.
Well, real quickly, I did want to say that from a player standpoint, the seams are very visible.
True.
If you're on the field, so I think more of a mental thing than anything else. There's not going to be any big gaps in the field. You're not going to step on a seam
or stub your toe
and tear an ACL. But they're visible, so it'll get better with time, and I don't think it's anything to be concerned about at all.
No, I don't either. It would be a privilege to play on that. To be honest.
Yes, and we stepped off of that, right? Off of that surface.
Great point.
If you look at Miller Stadium when the surface is there, on the far north and south ends, inside the track, there is still some turf there, which is the actual turf, the football turf, American football turf. And we stepped off of the next field turf, the Rio turf, onto that football turf, and it felt like stepping off of shag carpet onto hardwood floors. I mean, it's
like going from
night
Will's house
and day
to Porter's
different.
house. It's like going from Will's house to Porter's house.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
No, I would be much more comfortable going for an aggressive slide on that relative to the Yukon High.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Anyways, like you said,
look, playing around the complexities of a football stadium, an American football stadium and field, is a challenge that many clubs deal with.
For instance, Miami FC, who we saw drew over 10,000 people to their home opener, despite their somewhat sexist advertising campaign. But from the pictures that I saw, if that's the alternative to playing on the surface that we're playing on,
I'll take the next field every time.
Give me the next field, because it looked like a telecast of an American football game from like the early 80s, where the field lines are just barely visible.
Right.
Because apparently they tried to do the whole green paint over the grid lines
which
thing.
was an option that was on the table for
Right,
Raya.
exactly. Which was an option to either paint over them or take them up and repaint them. And quite frankly, it looks awful. So, yeah, really happy that we're not
looking at that every week.
Yeah.
All right, well, that wraps up a very long tech talk, which transitioned into post-game audio talk, which transitioned into turf talk. Coming up next in segment 3, we're going to listen to a preview of the next match against Miami. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Miami.
After this quick message from another real-life sponsor. Porter, let's talk about T-shirts.
T-shirts. What do you want to know about T-shirts?
If I wanted to buy some Raya OKC non-club T-shirts or some T-shirts to celebrate Oklahoma City's unique soccer culture, where would I go? What would I do?
That's a good question. You might have to try to look at like some really abstract stores that may not advertise themselves very well. I don't know.
You could tie-dye some blue shirts red, I suppose.
Yeah, you could do that.
Or you could go to Scissortail Tees on Teespring.
Scissortail Tees. All right, that sounds cool. Tell me more about that.
Well, frankly, we, Porter and Will, are launching a venture called Scissortail Tees. It's not very complicated, but we are going to sell Raya and Oklahoma City T-shirts regarding soccer through Teespring. So it's teespring.com/store/scissortailtees, and a portion of the proceeds will come back to us to make the podcast better. We're going to have some shirts that are for the supporters group. All the proceeds from those shirts go to the supporters group. And if you send us a design idea and we like it and we make it and it makes money, we'll send you a portion of the proceeds.
Yeah, now that you mention that, I seem to remember looking at some of those T-shirt designs, and they're quite nice.
I'm going to buy some tonight after we finish that.
This is rock and roll football, right? This is rock and roll football.
Blood and Thunder.
Blood and Thunder.
No mercy, no quarter
Spring
asked.
Tour 2016. Come check them out. Scissortail Tees.
Teespring.com/store/scissortailtees.
All right, welcome back. Big ups to James, our conga player for tonight. Just banging those congas out.
All right, let's talk about Miami.
Speaking of congas, Miami.
We will be, well, not we, Raya OKC will be going on the road, taking that team charter on the way to Miami to play fellow expansion side Miami FC on Saturday, April 23rd.
I have confirmed, actually, it's a Friday game.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, so Friday, April 22nd.
Friday at 7 Central.
All right. It'll just be like going to a high school football game.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, because you'll be able to see the grid lines. I wonder if they'll call everything in 10 and 10
Do you
and
think
5
if you're
yard.
a player, you would prefer to play on a grid line so you can say, like, you know, hey, hit me with that 15-yard pass. Like, I'm going to make this 10-yard run. Like,
no, not at all.
Precision passing?
No, because it's just so busy. I mean,
well,
don't you lose the ball in the grid lines?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about Miami. What do we know? Admittedly, not much.
Yeah, they drew Fort Lauderdale 1-1 in week 1.
Could you take their coach in a fight?
Probably not. Isn't their coach Nesta? Or is that one of the owners?
I don't know, man. I could probably take
Probably not. I think you asked me that question about Coach Marcina, and whatever my answer was, I definitely changed it to a no. But
yeah, he wouldn't even have to fight you. He would just stare you down.
Yeah, I just stare into my soul. So yeah, FIU Stadium is where we're going to be playing. So Florida International,
home of the Owls. Nice.
Yeah. So like I said, over 10,000 at their home opener because they opened in Fort Lauderdale in week 1.
I'm impressed.
And then they won against the Rowdies, I believe, this last weekend.
That sounds correct.
So over 10,000 there, despite their Miami Babes, whatever they were calling them on Twitter. Did you not see that huge uproar?
I saw that. I'm kind of down with making social and moral.
Hey, where you going this weekend? I'm going to the Miami FC game. Are you gonna come? It's like these two blondes in crop top Miami FC jerseys.
I'm for sure editing this part out.
Then they had why? It's greatness. Then they had two brunettes do a very similar thing.
Really?
So they were like, "Here, you like blondes? Here you go. You like brunettes? Here you go."
Yes, the club is doing the same thing with us because we have some pretty dirty mustaches right now.
That's right.
Well, there's a really comprehensive list on our players to watch note.
Yeah, it looks like bullet point number
guy's
1.
Name bullet point? Is his name Circle?
If there's any Miami FC podcasters out there,
hit us up.
Hit us up, and we'll do something special.
If you buy a T-shirt on Scissortail Tees, we will do a pregame interview with you, and vice versa.
That's right. That's the deal we made with Jason. So
yeah. All right. Let's take it out of segment 3, and we will come back for a no less riveting, but perhaps shorter free talk segment than last week. Stay with us.
Free talk, episode 11, free talk segment. Hopefully,
I
shorter
love free
than
talk.
last week's. Yes,
love free talk.
I can tell you love free talk. Anytime you come with a gigantic stack of notes, I know that it's all free talk.
I've actually prepared a novella on the state of soccer in America that I'm going to read verbatim tonight.
Great. All right. We'll see you in 30 minutes. Free talk this week. We're going to take a week off. Team's got a bye week. We're going to take a bye week. Since we're getting paid so much money to do this.
Team gets a trophy, we get a trophy. Team takes a bye week, we take a bye week.
But there will not be any wind sprints involved in our bye week.
I'm eating waffles on the bye week.
Yeah. But on the other side of that coin is, since we are credentialed media members for the team, we are going to make a concerted effort to go out to a couple of the media sessions during the week. Can't guarantee that's going to happen in the next 2 weeks, but as the team continues to send us times, we will check our schedules and see about getting out there. But we both have full-time jobs that aren't soccer related.
Just had a brilliant idea.
Okay.
I am going to try to get my hands onto a Kelmy practice top with the red swoosh on the side.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to buy some black shorts, and I'm going to go to practice suited up. I'm just going to see what happens.
I'm just going to see what wanker.
I'm just going to see what happens.
Just try to wear your cleats out there and just kind of show up and
I'm going to turn on
walk onto the field and just join into the whatever.
I'm either going to act like I've been on the team for months and that Marcina is crazy and has amnesia, or I'm just going to blatantly duct tape my MP3 audio and just turn it on and record the whole practice.
That'd be great. That'd be great. So in the future, you'll hear only Porter Cunningham talking about post-game press conferences because will get his media credentials revoked for attempting to become part of the team. I think it'd be a great bit, though. I think, again, in the future.
A man can hope.
Like our mustaches and our 70s sunglasses, I think it probably would have gone over a lot better had the team won.
Well, speaking of things that went over well, let's talk about soccer night in Oklahoma. Last night, Saturday night, there were
I don't want to name drop or anything, but we talked to Todd Lisenby before the game, who obviously calls the Rio OKC games for Cox. So he was there early. We were just chatting with him and talking about soccer night in Oklahoma.
We were signing autographs for him. He bought iPhones he bought 2 iPhones, and just all he has the iPhones for is he subscribes to the Scissor Tail podcast. And so we were autographing the cover
right there on the screen because he doesn't use it for anything else. He just straight downloads.
He had originally asked us to sign the back, but I decided to be a hard ass and I signed the front. So even though
you asked me to sign something, I'm going to tell you where I'm going to sign it.
No, but none of that actually happened. Well, maybe some of it's true.
So Todd's like the only media guy that I know in Oklahoma City who knows anything about soccer.
Hey, Jim Traber is he's a big CSKA Moscow fan. He's real into the obscure. He's into the obscure European leagues.
Hey, listen here, buddy. Back when I played in the pros, when I was in the majors, back before Major League Soccer.
We should call the sports animal and ask if he thinks Pele is the greatest soccer player of all time.
Anyways, back to my original point where you derailed us so much. Damn, D Carolina railhawked us.
Yeah.
We were talking to Todd and just talking about how great it would be if both teams
did well,
had great attendances and won and just did well in general. And now the team won. The Energy played to a 2-2 draw. But according to, if you believe their press release or if you even look at the pictures, of the stadium, they had a great draw attendance-wise. And Rio had a great draw attendance-wise. So, again, it's just 2 games for each team.
I'm going to go and stake Oklahoma City's claim as the soccer capital, the soccer church, the soccer temple of America.
It's a bold statement.
There is one big win that came out of last night.
Yeah?
You can now purchase replica kits from Rio OKC.
Yes.
For the low price of $60.
It's truly a low.
That's a real low price.
More than half the price of a similar replica kit for like a
European claim.
Yeah.
Like Jim Traber's CSKA Moscow kits probably cost like thousands of rubles.
Yeah, 5 million rubles or something at least.
Well, I tell you what, I bought one. And I don't know if this is true or not, but the lady said she was checking like the transaction record. She told me that I bought the very first replica kit.
Serial number 000000001.
She probably was like, "Oh man, Will, this guy, I love to hear that. I'm going to use it a lot more." So she probably told a lot of people that, but
yeah.
I'm going with it and really happy.
Yeah,
with
but she was telling the truth whenever she told you that.
They're beautiful kits. Both. I mean, all.
Which
three,
one did you buy?
All 3 are great. I bought the black. I thought about going with gray because I was like, no one's going to buy the gray.
I'm going to buy the gray.
Okay, I respect that.
Because I'm going to buy the gray because it's not the normal, but also I can put a 1 on it. And unless Danny's out there listening, he's going to hook me up with a keeper kit or something.
Right.
I'll buy the gray, put a 1 on it, and that'll be my new indoor goalie jersey.
I thought about buying the white, but then I was like, you know what? This is a really unique, kind of controversial jersey. And you can always buy the white kit. That hasn't changed in decades.
So let me ask you this. Have you had a chance to wear it yet? I know you just bought it last night.
I have worn it. I mean, it fits a little snug.
Okay.
It's that European fit.
So get a size up if you're
portly.
If you're portly, yes.
But I got
or multiple sizes.
I got a large and it fits me fine. And I wore it today. And I wore it in multiple use cases. I wore it to not to church, but I did wear it to a post-church luncheon with my parents. Went great with the khakis. And then I changed and I wore it to as a pregame shirt at indoor soccer. And then I was running some errands post-game, wearing it on. And it's comfortable. It looks good. It feels good. People were asking me about, what's the deal? What jersey is that? What's the deal with the team? Who are they? Asking if it was enjoyable to go to. And so it's kind of cool because I don't know that a lot of people know what's going on. As much as we talk about, as deep into the weeds as we are, there's a lot of people who are just doing life and have other priorities.
Right.
And so it was cool. I was at the grocery store and I'm checking out and I see this guy walk in, stroller, and we do that, weird thing where guys lock on. It was kind of weird. So I just mind my business. And he's pushing a stroller over to me and he goes out of his way to come by my line. Hey man, can I ask about your shirt? And I was like, yeah, it's the Riot OKC team and UConn. He's like, oh, is that the, is Samers playing? Is he pretty good at, how's the quality of play?
So he knew one player at least.
He knew one player. He was asking about it, and I think it looks like he and his wife were kind of having a heated debate about buying season tickets later.
Really?
No, but I bet they come.
Oh.
But it was cool, to actually wear it around and get people to look at it. And
so not to undercut the team here or anything, because $60 is fair price for, an official.
I think it's
and
fair
it's got the official.
No patches, no player patches, but there is some good detail.
Does it have the NASL patch on it?
It does not. No patches.
Okay.
But it does have some cool detail on the bottom right, towards the right of your belly button area. There's a mini Riot OKC logo, and it says official team shirt.
Right. Okay. For
It's
$60,
quality.
that's great.
It's quality.
If you can't afford $60, I know a place where you can get really awesome Riot shirts for $20.
China.
Scissortail Tees. You can get them there.
I'm cutting out China.
We're cutting out China because they're all made here in the USA.
That's right. So check it out. And without further ado, I guess that wraps up the episode.
Yeah, so unless anything special happens between now and Friday the 22nd, we won't have an episode until after the Miami game. So
this one's doubly long since we're taking a week off.
That's right. So let's go out and kick some Miami ass. Let's get the first win. I don't think, in all seriousness, they're a pretty decent team. So there's nobody in the NSL you can sleep on. So we'll see what happens.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you for listening. If you still are, and we will catch you next time. Peace out.